Hey, this is Daryl Henry with the Insurance for Entrepreneurs YouTube channel, where I'm talking about the issues that entrepreneurs face from an insurance and risk management and business standpoint, connecting those dots. It's a channel for entrepreneurs made by someone that likes to think he's an entrepreneur. All right, so the question I'm going to answer today is, what are the factors that impact auto insurance? And there's a number of them. I'm going to be going through 7 and talking through how they may impact whether or not insurance company will want to insure your vehicles, whether there's going to be insurance available, and how it'll impact your rates. The first is the type of work you're doing. You may hear talk about classifications. Basically, what an insurance company has to do is try and predict the future on what type of claims you may experience based on how other similar organizations behaved. So they're going to try and classify you. If you are a group home for the intellectually and developmentally disabled, that's how they're going to try and classify you. If you're a plumber or an electrician, they're going to try and classify you that way. One way that customers can get confused or have a hard time buying insurance is if they are improperly classified. So that's the first place to start, is make sure that they are accurately representing the type of work that you're doing. A second thing to think about would be radius of operations. Most businesses that I work with, they deal with their local community. It's going to be less than 50 miles. However, sometimes if you're looking at truckers or different types of work, if you go outside 50 miles, insurance companies will look at you differently, especially if you do that regularly. So insurance companies are going to look at how far you drive, because that can be a good indication of the level of risk that they're taking on. Basically, if you drive more miles, they're taking on more risk. A third thing insurance companies are going to look at are drivers. Every company is a little bit different on how they do this. Some companies are going to run the driving records of your drivers, and they're going to change the pricing based on the driving record. Others are just going to give you a list of driving requirements. They're going to say they can't have any major accidents, they can't have any major moving violations, something of that nature. But every company is a little bit different in how they deal with it. But as a whole, your drivers are going to be one of the biggest factors in how much you pay for auto insurance. Next, they're going to look at the type of vehicles that they're insuring. If they are looking at a box truck, that's different than, say, a 15-passenger van, which is different from a school bus, which is different from a minibus. So it's really important that when you are having an insurance company look at your business, that you make sure that they are treating your vehicles correctly, that they are calling it the correct weight, that it's the correct style. If it's 15 passengers versus 12 passengers, these are all very important details in how they will consider your business and how they're going to price your auto insurance. So pay attention to that. Also, insurance companies also look at where you drive. This is a really important factor because it's very different to drive in Washington, D.C. than it is to drive in Indianapolis. In Indianapolis, the roads are wider, the people are nicer, and they wave each other on. And in D.C., well, we just like to cut each other off around here. So insurance companies are going to look at where you garage your vehicles. They're going to look at where you drive, and that's going to impact the pricing pretty substantially. Insurance companies are also going to look at your previous insurance history and your previous claims history. Insurance is all about using the past to predict the future. So one of the ways that insurance companies use that type of data is they look at what type of claims have you had in the past. Does it look like you have a history of fender benders or accidents in parking lots? Those can be indications of drivers that are either behaving poorly, not well trained, not well taught on how to drive the vehicles, not being corrected. Like I said earlier, a lot of this comes back to your drivers are going to have a huge impact on your pricing, because your drivers are going to be the ones that drive the vehicles and have accidents. So insurance companies are going to look at where your insurance was before and what claims were paid out as a way to predict the future and determine what type of pricing you should have on your auto insurance. The last thing I'll go over is whether or not your auto insurance is being bundled with another line of coverage. In commercial auto insurance, there's not usually a direct discount for you for the auto insurance by also buying liability insurance. But as a general rule of thumb, if you buy general liability insurance and auto insurance from the same insurance company, you can generally get better pricing that way. So it's a good idea that when you are trying to get your costs down on auto insurance, make sure that you're looking at all the options to have your liability and auto insurance with the same insurance company. That usually works out better for you. Not always, but usually. So thanks for tuning in. If this was helpful, please hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps me know what people like. It helps other people find me. Thanks for listening.